some of the global influences we see in a lot of Justin Trudeau's policy. And I want to be clear, I'm not talking about conspiratorial thinking here. I'm not talking about global cabals, but you do have, for example, the World Economic Forum, a group that Justin Trudeau and many people in his cabinet have actually promoted and actively participated in. We've got the Great Reset, stakeholder capitalism, all of these things. And you've spoken out, I think, about some of these even on the floor of the House of Commons. I've had people that have said that you yourself are connected to the World Economic Forum. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to address this head on, because I'm sure you've seen it as well. Is there a connection there? Have you ever spoken at a World Economic Forum event?
No, I have not. No, I've never been to Davos. I've never been part of the organization. And I don't agree with its publicly stated policy objectives. My policies are different. I obviously support small government, more freedom, and individual independence. So I just have a fundamental disagreement with the organization's policy outlook. And that is something that you can look at my track record. I've said that on the floor of the House of Commons. I said it in parliamentary committees. I've said it in comments that I've made online for years. So anybody who wants to know my position on that subject can simply check it out and look up what I've actually said, because I've been deadly consistent on that issue.
So that's what we did.
I thank my colleague from Carleton for all his optimism and his 5 points. I come from Oshawa, where it's a big manufacturing background, and I've been hearing about the Liberals shutting down our manufacturing sector, our softwood lumber sector, our mining sector, and he knows, of course, Mr. Carney wants to promote Russian pipelines and block Canadian pipelines. So could he please explain to Canadian youth who are looking for a good future how modern monetary theory is going to help them get those jobs of the future, and how by 2030, when they own nothing, they'll be really happy.
The honourable member for Carleton.
That is a massive new inflation tax that will only help big government, big business, and the super rich at the expense of the working class. That's why we're speaking out against it. As for Mr. Carney, you're right, he's part of the World Economic Forum that the finance minister joins, which says that in 2030, only 9 years from now, you will own nothing and you will love it. That is the agenda of these people. Maybe that's why over the last year they've done everything in their power to make housing completely unaffordable, so that nobody can afford it except them, a small group of landed aristocrats, while the common people are out in the field doing the work. We on this side want to democratize property ownership, make it available to everybody.
Trudeau tells UN conference that the pandemic provided opportunity for a reset.
Canada believes that a strong, coordinated response across the world and across sectors is essential. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change.
I sometimes wonder if the government's not just covering up the WEF scandal here with this endless filibuster, but they also don't want any scrutiny of this grand reset the Prime Minister is now talking about. This idea that he's going to renovate Canadian society to fit his Trudeaupian ambitions. This is not a time to re-engineer society to his liking or to his socialist ideology. This is a time to get people safely and securely back to work to protect their lives and their livelihoods, not a time for government to take advantage of the crisis in order to massively expand its powers at the expense of Canadians' freedom. That's what we should be talking about here in the Finance Committee. We should just be standing up against government power grabs like this grand reset the Prime Minister is discussing. But I'm beginning to wonder if this filibuster is about more than just covering up the WE scandal, but also about covering up the government's grand schemes for social and economic engineering to cover up the power grab that he has lusted over since the beginning of this crisis. So frankly, we've lost patience. We want an answer. We want to get on with the job.
Trudeau dismisses Conservatives' comments as spreading conspiracy theories.
say to those, including MPs in the House of Commons, who see in your use of the term Great Reset evidence of some sort of grand plot? What do you have to say to this sort of conspiracy theory out on social media now?
I think we're in a time of anxiety where people are looking for reasons for things that are happening to them, that the difficult moments we're in. It's nice to be able to try and find someone to blame, something to point to, something to get mad at. I think we're seeing a lot of people fall prey to disinformation. And if Conservative MPs and others want to start talking about conspiracy theories, well, that's their choice. I'm going to stay focused on helping Canadians get through this, on learning lessons from this pandemic, and making sure that the world we leave to our kids is even better than the world we inherited from our parents.